My wife and I have been married since 2001 and together since 1999. She is the most intelligent, thoughtful, caring, loyal person I know, and I have always considered myself fortunate to have met and married her. Even today, she remains aesthetically beautiful, and men have consistently complimented her throughout our marriage. Despite their advances, she has always rebuffed them. Earlier this year, she was diagnosed with uterine cancer stage 1, and underwent a full hysterectomy. I was never concerned about the cancer. It was diagnosed early, addressed swiftly, and she made a full recovery. I took time off work to care for her after the surgery, and all seemed well. There were some expected emotional instances on her part, and though I am not particularly emotional, we confronted them together. After her recovery, she insisted that we start living life to the fullest and embarked on a 10-day trip to Europe, followed by a journey to Belize. We also have a trip planned to the UK and Spain later this year. I am fine with these endeavors, as they contribute to building memories and checking off bucket list adventures for her and us. I understand that these actions stem from her feeling fragile. She also embraced activities like yoga, swimming, and healthy cooking classes. I was fully on board until last week. Last week, she came home from work and expressed a desire for a hall pass, a one-time opportunity for her to have intimacy with someone else besides me. She explained that since her cancer diagnosis, her outlook on life has changed, and she doesn't want to be restricted from doing things she desires. She mentioned a guy at her work whom she's always been attracted to, and as he's leaving the company, she sees it as the perfect opportunity to engage with someone else. She asserted that I could say no, but doing so would result in her being mad and disappointed at me for an indeterminate amount of time and would confirm my male toxicity and insecurity. I don't consider myself toxic, and if not wanting my wife of 20 plus years to have intimacy with someone else is considered insecure, then I guess I am insecure. I expressed appreciation for her openness but clarified that approval via coercion is not true approval. I also conveyed my disapproval of her language in describing my yet unknown reaction to this significant issue that could impact the rest of our marriage and life. The next morning, she apologized for putting such a weighty decision solely on my shoulders. To help, she decided to take the decision away from me. She booked a hotel near where her coworkers are having a farewell party for this guy and planned to spend the night there with him, hoping I would still be here when she returned. She assured me that she would answer any questions I have about the night afterward but not before. She refused to disclose any details about him, stating that she knows me too well, and revealing such information would lead me to dwell and obsess over him, making it too real for me. Her perspective is that the less I know, the better, which contradicts her offer to tell me anything I want to know after it happens. I think she assumes I won't want to know anything, or she simply will not tell me. Part of me thinks that at least she has been honest with me, and she has been through a lot since finding out she had cancer, so maybe I should just let it happen. I certainly have no concept of what she went through, so I cannot dismiss how this affected her mental state and outlook on life. Another part of me wants to put my foot down and say this is not going to happen and deal with the consequences when they happen. Her best friend called me callous for even suggesting that I wouldn't let it happen because I have no idea what she went through. I find it hard to believe that she is okay with the possibility of throwing away 20 plus years of marriage over some guy with whom she has had no relationship outside of work. Part of me wants to know who this guy is. What does he look like? What does he have that is so enthralling for her? Is he just a safe option? Is he married? Does his wife know? Update 1. I was hoping that my opposition to her plans would give her pause, but unfortunately, that did not happen. I said I was a hard no, and I wasn't sure how I would feel about you if you went ahead with it. I was met once again with, this is for me, it will be one time, what can I say to help you deal with it, you'll get over it, we were meant to be regardless of the situation. After that, she left on Saturday, ostensibly to meet her coworkers, but in reality, to be with the guy. I asked her to text me when she was leaving for the bar, and when she did, I asked her if she was really going to go through with this. After her response, I am not answering any more questions tonight, I will see you tomorrow, I blocked her. Then I did something either stupid or brilliant. I went to the bar where the get-together was happening. Well, not the bar but a transit bench across the street. I waited for a long time. It was running through my mind leading up to this event that I needed to know who this guy was, maybe to compare myself against him, to see what he had that I didn't. It was driving me crazy not knowing who he was and what was so special about him that she would ruin a marriage for. After what seemed like an eternity, a woman that I recognized from my wife's office left the bar and got in a cab. Soon, other people started filing out, and the entire group came out. People were hugging a man and shaking his hand. I assumed that I had my guy. I didn't see my wife and had a brief thought that maybe she called it all off. I unblocked her, and there were no messages. Everyone said their goodbyes and left. The guy was just standing outside for a couple minutes, and then my wife came out. She looked around, took his hand, and started walking away together. Of all the emotions I went through, trepidation, sadness, anger, it was disgust that really encapsulated the event for me. This guy was short, fat, and bald, all the things I cannot compete with. Ultimately, I felt like a pervert for watching from a distance. I followed until they got to the hotel, and then turned around and went home. I woke up on Sunday morning and put a lock on the master bedroom door. I moved her things to the spare room and left a note asking her to find other accommodations as quickly as possible. I visited another friend who is a lawyer, and he gave me some great advice and a couple of recommendations for divorce attorneys. When I got home, and as per my friend's advice, I recorded the interaction. I was halfway up the stairs when she came up from the family room asking what was going on. Could we talk? I thought we talked about this. I just answered with, I am not interested in discussing this tonight, and went to bed. After not getting a response from me through the door, she left me alone. I feel kind of like a child for not talking with her and shutting the door on her, but I just couldn't look at her. On Monday, I got up and got ready for work. She was waiting for me and asked if we could discuss getting back to normal. I said, "You have been doing all the talking for the both of us for the last week, why don't you continue?" And left for work. Update 2. My lawyer wasn't available for a few days, so I was faced with the reality of having to live with my wife in the interim. I really didn't want to go home and have any discussion, let alone a discussion about our relationship. When I did get home, I was basically ambushed by her friends and my mother-in-law. Instead of taking the remorseful approach, they decided that a full court press was what the situation warranted, and I was basically berated by them. Her best friend was definitely the ringleader, but all of them decided to say such things as, "She's been through a lot, you don't know what she's been through, you have no idea what it is like to face something like this, this was a one-time thing, at least she told you she could have hidden it from you, she will never see the guy again, and my favorite, you are a monster for what you have been putting her through these last couple of days." I listened with a cold look on my face, and when there was a pause in their fury, I asked if they were all done now. Then I asked my wife if there was anyone in her circle of friends or anyone else that she forgot to tell about this. I quietly informed all of them that I was going to sit down with their husbands and tell them about how they were verbally abusing me, shaming me, and trying to coerce me into staying with a cheater. After I told them to leave, I said that I had no say in the entire event, and so they have no say in whether I stay or not. My soon-to-be ex-wife sort of apologized. She said that she regretted the entire thing. I said there is a difference between regret and remorse. You regret what happened because of the cause and effect. You have regret because your life will never be the same, our relationship will never be the same because you were wholly and willfully unconcerned about me and what I wanted. She asked if I had any questions, and she would answer them now, no matter how disturbing. I said that the one question I do have is, why? Not necessarily why this guy, why this low-end unattractive, unfit guy, but why someone else in the first place? She said that the cancer scared her to her core. She felt like she was rushing toward mortality and stepping out of that tunnel was appealing. She said that after all this time of being a wife and mother and worrying about family, this was something just for her. An escape. The guy was just someone who was interested in her for a long time, she knew he wouldn't say no, and he was the complete opposite of me. I said if I was going to risk my marriage, the woman would have to be a serious upgrade from you. I told her that I saw you and him coming out of the bar that night. I watched you walk away from the bar hand in hand towards the hotel. I said that you looked too familiar with each other and asked if there was something going on before all this. She said no, but who knows if that is the truth or not. I said that after all our years together, your lack of respect for me was astonishing. I finished by saying that I would never be able to look at myself in the mirror again if I condoned that level of disrespect and stayed with you. I said I hope we can go our separate ways amicably, and that I have an appointment with a lawyer later in the week. I again asked her to find some other accommodations, and she simply said, "I am not going anywhere. We are not getting a divorce. I will give you all the time you need and do whatever you need to recover from this. We will get past this." She has asked me to go to marriage counseling, which I refused. Why would I go to counseling? I did nothing to warrant needing a therapist's advice. I had her served and gave her a notice to vacate because the house is my premarital asset. She has moved in with her mom, but I find her constantly coming by to see if I need anything or making suggestions like, "What if we had an open relationship only on your side?" which seems kind of desperate and pathetic. She has said that she will drag the divorce out for as long as possible but so far has been compliant. The worst part of all this is telling my daughter that we are getting a divorce and why, followed closely by her begging me to give her mom another chance. I am not sure I would have been afforded the same consideration if I was the one who was cheating. Update 3. There is not much to report. We are in the process of getting a divorce, however, where we live, we must be legally separated for 1 year. My wife has said that she will give me whatever I want in the divorce if I agree to attend marriage counseling, but I am not interested. There was a bit of back and forth while we worked out what separation looks like in everyday life from this point forward. As a result, we have only just agreed to the confines of a legal separation, so as we move towards defining the divorce language, maybe my stance may change. I received a lot of messages about her friend group and my daughter, so I will clear up any misconceptions now. My daughter isn't taking her mother's side. She has always been a mama's girl, but she is very unhappy with her mom right now. Her initial reaction was just shock and held out hope that we would work through any issues and stay together. Now she accepts that is not going to happen. She has been limiting her interactions with her, but at the end of the day, she is still her mom. The friend group husbands were upset at the level of complicity of their wives in aiding and abetting the cheating and made them cut off my wife, but that seems to have been forgotten at this point. The best friend was the ringleader and seems to have taken perverse pleasure in actively creating scenarios where they would be in contact, at the very least encouraging to the point of causing her husband to question her motives. It turns out she didn't like me at all, and this was her way of sticking it to me. I guess she wins. I have decided not to date anyone for a while. I will not be getting married ever again. So that's all. I doubt I will post again unless she wins the lottery and I find it in my heart to forgive her.